All right, guys. This is Echo Kraft. Welcome to Echo Kast. And tonight we have a very special show for you. We have Mr. Marshal Arnold, YouTuber extraordinaire, synth extraordinaire, and we have Mr. Cow Food, synthesizer enthusiast himself. And so we're going to talk about synthesizers, music and technology, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about, because that's what we do on this fucking podcast. So, anyway, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, even though I did, but say hello.
Howdy.
And who are you?
Well, yeah, go right ahead, Arnold, please.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, Mr. Calculate. I am Marshal Arnold. I'm a synth guy on YouTube, and I do synthesizers.
I'm Cow Food. I guess I like synthesizers, even though you don't see any in the background. I will probably show you a few during the show if it comes to it. But yes, I love synthesizers, drum machines, mixers, guitars, pedals, amplifiers, speakers, all that and that. And yeah, that's my steal too. I'm a deal.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off. I'm psyched that you guys are on tonight. I really am. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I've run into a whole bunch of other shit that's happened. Life has happened. Let's put it that way. Outside of what I really love to do. So I know I'm a little late. You know, it's already October, and I was in Nashville for NAMM, for summer NAMM in July, and I'd been wanting to do this show for a while to talk a little bit about the stuff that I saw and some of the cool contacts that I made. I'm actually wearing an Alexandra Pedals t-shirt that I got a chance to talk to the guys at Alexandra Pedals. They make some cool stuff. But yeah, so, and I also want to talk to you guys also. I know Marshall went to NobCon this year, and I want to talk to him about that too, because that was pretty cool. And then we're probably going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the synth world, because there's a lot of shit happening that's happened in the past couple of months that just blew me away, because nobody shows shit at NAMM anymore. So right. It's like they all like literally came out with shit after NAMM, which was really weird. But yeah, I was in Nashville for about 10 days and went down there with my wife and went to Summer NAMM and had a blast, actually. I will say this, what I thought was really interesting, that Summer NAMM was exactly what everybody said it was. Although I wasn't disappointed. A lot of people I talked to had been there said, Summer NAMM's a waste of time. It's really small, but compared to Winter NAMM, which is very large and there's a ton of things to see, which I didn't get a chance to see everything at Winter NAMM. But Summer NAMM was 3 days and was very, very small. But what I liked about it was the intimacy. I was able to go to the guys, the manufacturers. I was able to go to the vendors. I was able to go to these people and literally sit down and talk to them, which I thought was really cool. And I also got a chance to hang out with Mr. Warren Hewitt. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Warren, but he is multi-Grammy nominated platinum album guy. He does a thing on YouTube called Produce Like a Pro. And Warren's a really cool guy. He's from he's a Brit. He's from Great Britain. And so I actually got a chance to meet him and talk to him and stuff. And what blew my mind was, because in NAMM, Winter NAMM, I saw him win an award. I think we talked about that before. He won a tech award. And what was really cool was I congratulated him right after that while I was in Anaheim. And what was really cool, he followed me right after that on Instagram. And then this time at Summer NAMM, I went up to him and introduced myself, and he cut me off. He says, "I know who you are. You're Echo Kraft." And I was like, "What?" And my wife just kind of looked and was like, "Holy shit, like this guy like knows who you are." You know what I mean? Like, and that was kind of special. It was kind of cool because he's that kind of guy. He's just a guy that really, you know, he gets it. Like he knows that everybody's striving to get somewhere and do something, and he's just a friendly guy, down to earth guy. So that was a big plus for me this year. The other thing was I got to hang out with the guys at Audioscape who make compressors but they basically rebuild. They replicate the old compressors, and I actually bought one. I bought an Audioscape bus compressor, which is basically an SSL. So I'm actually blown away by it. This thing is sweet. It's the glue for the final product. So I got a chance to hang out with those guys and talk to them. They were super nice. And then I met somebody who I thought was really interesting. I hate patch bays. How many of you guys, do you guys actually hate patch bays?
Yeah, I do.
I like mine only because if I didn't have it, I would have to be manually plugging and unplugging shit in all the time.
Right, exactly. Well, I hate patch bays because of I just get mixed up when I use them. I just look at I don't know if it's my ADD or what, man, but I look at them and I go, what the fuck is going on right now?
Oh yeah, you got to do so I have a spreadsheet that I pull up.
Exactly.
So that I make sure I know what I'm plugging into, because otherwise I pull my hair out.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I went to a bar on the Strip, Jason Aldean's bar on the Strip, to get something to eat. And so we went there and you know, I'm sitting there, you know, I'm doing my thing on Instagram and I'm chatting with a couple of dudes back home, and Laura's got her ears open and she's listening to the couple next to us. And so she said, hey, they're going to be at NAMM. Why don't you ask them what they do? And I'm like, what? How the fuck did you hear that? Right. So, I turn around and I go, so what do you guys, you going to NAMM? And they're like, yeah, we're vendors there. And I go, oh, cool. So what do you do? And he goes, he's from Flock Audio, and Flock Audio makes a patch bay that is basically like a DAW. You move everything around with your mouse, but it's all connected to an analog patch bay.
Get the Flock out of here. Really? I'm just, I had to do that.
That's fine.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really cool. And he offered me a show price because he didn't want to pack them up and take them back on the plane.
Sure.
And he said, look, man, these are brand new. They're sitting here. Why don't you come back, close to, closing on Sunday, and I'll sell you one for $1,800. And normally they go for about $2,400. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, that's such a steal, and he showed me how it worked and everything. Super nice people. And I want one, because what he showed me was linking all your synthesizers together. He's like, you could come up with one big, huge patch if you wanted to. And then I'm thinking about the audio gear and, the outboard stuff. And then my head started turning, because literally it shows up on your DAW as a plugin. And you could just map everything together. So check out Flock Audio. They're really cool.
I will check that out. That sounds like something I might need in my life.
Yes, sir, indeed, with all that stuff you have.
Yes.
And I'm thinking the same thing, man, just to be able to move things around. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as just taking your mouse and dragging something over to the next window. So it was super cool. And I wanted that piece of gear so bad, but then I'm thinking to myself, going, I got to pack that up. I got bags. I got to take that on the plane. I'm like,
yeah,
so,
$1,000 off. That's like a third the price off.
I know. My wife even said it. She goes, so you're going to go buy it. And I'm like, who are you?
Right. She's encouraging you.
Yeah. No, Laura's great when we go on these little excursions. So it was really cool, but I have messaged him since, and he's such a nice guy, and they're up in Ontario, Canada. So he told me, he says, yeah, man, anytime, just let me know, That's like the guys with Audioscape. They every time they post new products to release, it's always on a Saturday night, and I always miss the window. So finally I messaged Charlie and Chris, and I go, guys, I want one of these bus comps, but every time I go to buy one, they're gone because I missed the window. And they're down in Florida, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he said, listen, we're getting hit hard with that hurricane. He goes, let's wait until that's all said and done with, make sure everything's cool. He says, and I'll put your name on one. And he says, I'll just, you pay for it and I'll just ship it out to you. And I said, no problem, man. So I got one sitting in my studio and it sounds so nice. I can't even explain it to you. But anyway, yeah, and I got a chance to hang out with a lot of people, man. And Summer NAMM was, the 3 days I went there for literally, like, we'd go there for like 2 or 3 hours and then we'd leave. Where Winter NAMM, it was like you were there from 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock. So I went there and I spread things out because it was small, but I was able to connect with people. So I made a lot of connections and stuff, and it was actually really cool. I would definitely go again. Plus, I don't know if you guys have ever been in Nashville.
I had to drive through Nashville to get to Florida, and I thought I was gonna die.
Why?
Because everyone drives like a fucking maniac. I swear to God.
That's right. I thought it was because you're from Colorado, man.
Well, that's probably true, I guess. But
you'd hate it in Boston, bro.
Oh, I've driven in Boston. It didn't seem as bad as this. It could have been the fatigue, obviously. I made that whole trip out here driving. It was like 26 hours, and I did it in a day. The whole time, basically. I think I stopped once for like 2 hours.
Wow,
tried to sleep a little bit and then get back on the road. But yeah, so it may have been the fatigue because it was the middle
animal
of the night.
Kid. You're a road warrior.
That's right. Well, I was like, I got to get there, man.
No, I hear you. Nashville's a lot of fun. I had a blast. And you can't go to Broadway every single night because it's just crazy and ridiculous. And there's music. I literally held my phone up. I have a decibel meter on my phone. And I held it up like in the middle of the street. So it was on every side of the street. There's like 20 bars on each side of the street. And summertime, they just have their windows and doors wide open. Yeah. So there's just music blasting, rock and roll, metal, country, you name it, man. It's just blasting out there. And I held it up. And my wife was like, what are you doing? I said, I just want to see how loud it is. And it was at one point, it was like just in the street alone was 90 decibels.
Yeah, that's pretty loud.
Yeah, so as you get closer to each venue, it gets even louder, But the musicianship that I saw down there was just phenomenal. I mean, it wasn't a bad musician. I mean, every single from the singers, women, men, unbelievable. The guitar players. It was just, it's like people go down there to make a living playing.
Right.
And the people that go down there, I mean, these people are like, this is their dream. Like, this is what they want to do. And it was like watching a live performance of The Voice every night. I mean, that's how awesome it was. It was that good, So it was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to go back. We came back home and my wife started looking at houses down there. So that would be fantastic because they're dirt cheap for gorgeous houses and some land. And, I tell you, man, I'd move down there in a heartbeat. That's how awesome it was,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, I mean, just to wrap that up, I just wanted to quickly, talk a little bit about NAMM and the things that I saw and the purchase I made. And, I want to hear Marshall about what you saw at NobCon. I know, like I said, the synth world exploded. It just was like a gush of just everywhere. And I was blown away. I'm like, wow, like I didn't see any of this stuff when I was in Nashville. I didn't even see half the stuff that came out in Anaheim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of companies made announcements right before NobCon.
Yeah.
And they were there with their goods.
Cool.
So yeah, it was a blast. I didn't stay for as long this time, so I had a lot shorter window. But, Roland dropped several new synths and products with their groove boxes and stuff. So I gotta check those out. The Modular guys had their Argon 8 there, which is that wavetable synth that they've got that's kind of seems to be similar form factor to the Minilog XD, like that kind of size.
Right.
And then we had the Hydra synth, which took everyone by surprise.
Yeah, I saw Nick Bat check that out, and I think Jim from Air Monkey Music was down there working for Sonic State.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to see Jim at all, or?
I don't know who he is. Like
Oh, really?
I know Ear Monkey from YouTube, but I don't remember what he looks like. So I saw several camera groups going around back and forth doing all kinds of stuff. So one of those was probably him. So Ear Monkey, if you listen to this, sorry I didn't recognize you, but
Yeah, Jim's a pretty cool guy. I've actually contacted him for literally like some technical advice on stuff. He's
Yeah.
a really cool guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's doing work for Sonic State out here. It'd be nice if they actually came down so I can meet Gaz and Nick, but
Yeah, man. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Air Monkey. He was definitely he was on the Sonic State, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because he's from around here, which is awesome, you know. So that was pretty cool seeing him on the show, you know. So
Yeah.
what'd you think of the Hydra synth, man? Did you get a chance to fiddle with it at all, or?
Oh yeah, I spent some time with it, some quality time with the Hydra synth, and it's pretty amazing. The when I first saw it, you know, we're all obviously just sitting at home, and all of a sudden we get a notification that there's this new synth, and so we all rush and check it out, all the specs and what's the control panel look like, and what can it do, and then what does it sound like. So when I first saw it, I was like, that's pretty cool, but it seems like one of those synths again with like a weird matrix thing to get to certain parameters, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna really like that, especially being someone with a Quantum, which is a wavetable synth amongst other things as well, but it does wavetable, and it has just so many onboard controls like on the front panel. So I was initially really worried about that, but upon further review, and once I've got to play one for a while at NobCon, it is really intuitive and it's not a big deal.
Really?
So yeah, and it sounds really cool. It's got that poly aftertouch, right, Cow Food? Poly aftertouch.
Yes. It's got both the desktop and the keys. So
Yeah.
I have yet to experience poly aftertouch in anything. Even just,
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Poly aftertouch.
I've heard of it myself, but what is it?
That's right.
Poly aftertouch.
That's all you need to know. Poly aftertouch.
I mean, I've never
basically-
experienced it either. What the fuck is it?
It's basically if you're playing a chord, each note of the chord has its own dynamic pressure points in the
For
filter
aftertouch.
section or wherever you want to route it to. The envelope's a filter, so for each note, you're going to route. It's not per note that you route it, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it is.
Well, I don't. Well, actually, that's a good question. I don't know if it's that dynamic, but in a nutshell, you know, when you play a synth with aftertouch, when you push down extra hard on a key,
Right.
and you get either some kind of modulation or
Right,
filter, whatever you route aftertouch to, that's what it does. So on a normal synth that's just got regular aftertouch, no matter which of the keys you play, if you're playing a 3 or 4 note chord, the aftertouch is applied across the board to all the notes. With poly aftertouch, you can individually press down on specific notes and only have aftertouch on those notes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that make sense? So you get something like the CS80, I believe, had poly aftertouch, right? And that is a
Yes.
very
A beast.
very expressive sounding instrument, in part because of that and because of the ribbon controller, which also the Hydra synth has a ribbon controller.
But the desktop doesn't, right?
Right, the desktop doesn't give you the ribbon controller, but the pads still have poly aftertouch.
Oh,
Right.
they do.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
I
even
think
if
we should say it all together. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Poly aftertouch.
All right, I beat you guys to that again. Couldn't help myself.
I have a question for you. Did you get a chance to play with the Roland XM?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think?
I think it looks beautiful. I think it sounds beautiful, but I think that that form factor for that device, it's a professional device. It seems odd that they would put it in like an MX1 size, not MX1, the System 1. System 1 with the keyboard. It's kind of like that kind of size, but with much better styling. But it just seemed weird. It's like $1,400 for one of those, and have like little mini keys or slim keys or whatever they are.
Right.
Not a big fan of that. I think they should have made that a desktop rack mountable unit instead. But they focus group, all that shit. I'm sure they know better than me. But it seems like a very safe product for them. It's another kind of repackaging. It's Calfoot and I kind of talked about it on the show we did a few weeks ago, but
I caught some of that.
It's 5-part multi-timbral. It has a high voice count, like over 200 voices, and so it's extremely powerful and capable. But again, it's just kind of one of those things. Like, I feel like I have so many synths or options to get those sounds that it feels like a rehash in a new box. Does that make sense?
Yes. My thoughts exactly.
Not that it's bad, because it's definitely not. I love the way it looks. It sounds obviously great. We all know Roland's capable of making really fantastic sounding instruments.
Yeah.
But it just felt like this is like a really safe product for them, and it didn't seem to really break any huge barriers. It's just, if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of Roland kit or instruments and you want to get some of that Roland goodness, that's a good synth to get, because it has basically 5 different synth engines in it. And I think
one of the things that because that's the piece that I said earlier before we started. I said I haven't had gas in a long time, and I got a little gassy over that.
If I was gonna pick one, I would go for the full size X when that comes out, which I think will be next year. I don't know exactly when, but I would get the full size synth, not the little mini one that they've got there.
So here's the thing with me is I'm putting away a lot of things. I put away my Juno, my JU06, my JP08.
You put away the Juno 106?
Yeah.
I just joined their Facebook group today, man.
Well, the JU06.
Oh, the boutique.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had 2 Juno 106s, and I still shoot myself in the ass every time I think about it, because I got rid of them like a fucking idiot, because I was into digital. Let's go digital. And I was on that fucking bandwagon.
You sounded like Invader Zim.
You did.
But no, literally that's where I was with that. I was just like, I bought a Korg M1, and which is a great keyboard, but I was all about, I sold all my analog shit and went digital.
You read the brochure and thought, I don't need anything else. And then you realized, I'm a dumbass.
DX7 or death.
Well, I'd take death over that, but that's beside the point.
Well, I killed that. I killed my
synthesizer.
DX7. Well, I killed one that was already dead. Is that kind of beating a dead horse?
Yes,
exactly.
Pretty much. But I saw the XM, and the reason why I like that over the bigger one, and the bigger one's probably going to have a lot more to it, was the fact that it gave me some of the engines that I was getting rid of.
Right.
And I like the idea that it's smaller, that fits in because right now, I mean, you guys have seen how much gear I fit into this tiny fucking room. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got it plastered on the walls, basically.
And now I've moved things around. My whole studio setup is completely different, and it's a lot more workable. But still, I'm putting things away. And I've also sold some shit on Reverb recently, which I said I would never do. But I just, I got big boy synths now. That's the way I look at it. And I don't mean to be like you, Marshall, for instance. I see everything behind you, and that's not even half of what you have.
No, that's way more than that.
And most of those are big boy synths, and they are. Yeah, all of them are, and so I don't know, man. My musical taste is changing, and the way I write now is different. So when I saw the XM, I like that whole bit about the multiple arpeggiations and sequences that you can do.
Yeah, it's multi-timbral. It's like a virus, but with all Roland sounds, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know?
So that's what really kind of turned me on about it. And of course, like you said, the sound, it just sounds really nice, you know.
It does, but here's what I would recommend instead. Is I would just get the cloud, especially if you're just mixing in the box, if you're wanting to save some space. I think the Roland Cloud is fucking awesome.
Don't tear his gas away from him.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
Well, no, and you know, and that's fine, but like I already have the Arturia suite, which is phenomenal, and that's what I use in the box stuff. But I also have been playing around with the idea of playing live lately.
Okay. Well, it'd be a great little live
exactly.
Sure.
You know, take a TR8 with me and
one of those, and you basically got a Roland band in a box.
Yeah.
Save yourself $1,100. Get the System 1 keyboard. It's $300 these days.
I hate the way it feels, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The keyboard is kind of like it's because I played one and it's nice. Don't get me wrong, and I love the feel of the knobs is fucking great, but the way that key bed feels, it just doesn't. It's flat to me. You ever play one of them? Was it CM?
It's only like
CME. You ever see those keyboards? The Jordan Rudess is like he's constantly promoting them. The little flat keyboards.
Yeah, but they're like half travel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that feel. I don't know, it's me.
Fair enough.
I don't remember. I don't remember if the XM is that way or not. I didn't get a bad vibe from it really, other than I was like, this should be a module. That's my opinion.
I think Air Monkey said it was very close to the way the mini log feels. Kind of that kind of key bed.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, that's not a bad feeling synth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be fine. It's going to be really good, you know, for somebody that needs that.
Right.
I just felt like
I just love the way you just said that, dude. You're like, I think it's going to be fine.
Right. It's not going to be
something that I would buy. So
I'm not trying to shit on it because I know that there's people. Somebody even on our show, Calfood, when we talked about it, got a little offended.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'm not getting offended. I just thought it was funny what you said.
No, I know, but some people really could use something like that, and like I said, that's why Roland knows better than me. But as somebody who has lots of gear, lots of Roland gear, even. I was kind of hoping for something a little new and not repackaging of the same old stuff kind of thing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Did you get a chance to see any of the Behringer shit?
So Behringer was not at the show.
Again.
Well, they were there last year.
Yeah, they weren't at NAMM either, so.
They were at NAMMCon last year, and I got some footage of the the RD8, excuse me, and the RD9 that they had just the chassis of for everyone to gawk at and go, oh my God, when is that coming out? So but they weren't there this year, unfortunately. Which, I mean, if you think about it, they had the K2 come out. And then that's kind of it. I think they've started releasing RD8s.
Yep, they did. Yeah.
I don't think that they've. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, not anything in the U.S. yet. Yeah,
they. I noticed they had done the K2, and I was looking at that, and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of cool." You know. Again, though, I mean,
they didn't have any big splash kind of news, I don't think, and maybe they felt like it's kind of a lot to ship people over from the UK. Or Germany,
right.
For that show, because it's not a huge show, you know, like you were saying with Summer NAMM's a little more intimate, and NAMMCon's nice, and it's not that big, but it's still big enough to where there's plenty to do. But you can get through most of the booths and stuff in a day if you really wanted to, and you know, it's not, and you can sit and talk with the manufacturers, and it's nice. It's not overly crowded, you know, so. Maybe they felt like it wasn't worth Wow.
recently there's a synth fest up here, and I wanted to go to it, and I didn't get a chance to go to it. But I heard this; it was the same vibe, man. It was like there was a bunch of people that came by, and it wasn't like the big vendors, and the big manufacturers. Actually, you would have liked it, Mr. Cowfood. From what I saw, was a ton of modules,
Oh yeah.
modular stuff. So, and they had this whole big like modular like event where a bunch of the guys got together and they jammed and stuff, which was actually pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so I mean, and I just became a member of it. It's kind of something that I've been wanting to do is get myself out there, more involved in the synth community where I come from, because it is growing. It's just blowing my mind how synthesizers, the synth communities are starting to take off and grow, especially in the modular field.
Well, it's good. I was worried for a while that people were so entrenched with the plugins and VSTs that hardware,
Yeah.
maybe no one's going to buy hardware, not that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good to see that there's lots of communities popping up.
Yeah.
What a tactile feel. I mean, that's what's bringing it back, because I mean, more and more people are feeling like they're disconnected with the whole mouse and VST creation process.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you introduce or reintroduce people to the tactile feel of making music, they're starting to say, "Oh wow, actually, I can do a lot more with this than I could with just, mucking around in, say, my DAW with VSTs."
Right.
I mean, if you're a working guy and you need to put shit out quickly, then it's probably something to using some of those instruments for not only recallability but quickly putting things together, as opposed to dicking around on hardware all the time.
Right.
Less maintenance involved too. So, but as an enthusiast, I love the hardware for sure, and I know professionals use hardware as well, but there's reasons why somebody may want to use software instead.
Right.
Or more software versus
or a combination.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is that's something I wanted to ask you guys about. I don't know if you guys even give a shit about this, but did you guys see that Reason has put their software out as a VST finally?
Yes, I did. I saw that. Yeah.
You brought it up on our show last time. So yeah.
Yes. I was pretty excited about that. I was a Reason user for a very long time, and I stopped because it was a pain in the ass to use with Rewire. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Reason. I shouldn't say that.
Unfriended.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. Kidding.
No, I was in the beginning. I remember when it first came out, and the thing about Reason for me was always the sequencer in it was just kind of difficult. I was a guy who was raised on like Digital Performer, so I was like that was my thing.
Right.
And the other thing that back then you couldn't use plugins.
Yeah, there was no plugins and there was no way to record audio directly into it. You could get audio into it, but you had to get it elsewhere and then import it as a WAV file. So and for me, I was just dumb. I had no experience with anything else, so Reason's kind of where I taught myself how to do a lot of the things I do now.
Right.
So the sequencer didn't bother me because I didn't know any different. But yeah, it's come a long way. They for a while they had two separate products. They had Record and then Reason, and Record was for live audio, and then Reason was for Reason stuff. And then eventually they combined them. It was kind of weird. They kind of went through a weird phase for a few years.
Right.
But I'm glad to see that they've seen the light and decided to not only, you can still buy Reason and have it as the full thing, because I know a lot of people still use Reason.
Oh, yeah.
And now they allow VSTs, and they've had their rack extensions that third parties could develop for a while. And now you can get it as a plugin, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other cool thing, I know they added a whole bunch of new stuff to it too, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and see, I'm more about like there's certain things that I remember using and love to use in Reason that I would love to bring into current productions that now I'll be able to do finally. So the
Right.
new stuff I don't really care about. It's more the quintessential Reason things like the Scream 4 and the vocoder and some of those things. Some of the effects really are what I really want to use with their shit.
Right.
With my other shit. And then hopefully it doesn't sound like shit.
With a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I did also hear that what was it? They hired the guy from was it Korg or Roland?
No, so Behringer hired
Behringer did, yeah.
I can't remember his name. I apologize if somebody wants to try and look it up and pronounce his name. But he was the guy that developed the MS20.
That's it, yeah.
Behringer scooped him up.
Yeah, and apparently they're creating this research thing that they're doing, and they're going to start building synths in Japan with this guy. And I think that's so freaking cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because that is going to open up a whole. Well, I mean, like
he had said something. I believe in the article I read about it, he had said that, in today's environment, he's not able to do the things that he wants to do with the other synth companies, and Behringer's gonna hopefully just let him go crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember seeing the article that Uli Behringer had said. He said, finally, we're building stuff that I've always wanted to build, and that was synthesizers ever since he took the company back over again. And so to have this guy on board to do that, I know Midas has been working on all that stuff as well. But I just think it's really cool that, they got this guy who, I mean, not for nothing, but I don't know if you've ever owned an MS20. It was always one of my favorite synths. It was one of the coolest analog. There it is. This
is the Mini, but
that's the Mini, yeah. But the Mini's cool, man.
Oh yeah. So I've got an MS20.
Yeah.
Mini.
See, that's what I mean. And I remember. Do you remember when they came out with the MS20, the desktop module?
Yeah, I heard that's a better unit than the Mini.
That's what Nick Bat said. Yeah.
It was more money. I don't really know what the difference was. Do you happen to know offhand, Cow Food?
No.
Well, you had to build it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I think you had to put it together. But it's kind of like, what I understand was like Legos. So I don't think you'd be soldering a bunch of shit.
No. I remember Nick Bat saying that after he put it together, his fingers were killing him for like weeks because he's like snapping all the pieces together and everything. But he demoed it and it sounded friggin' great, man. It had a nice, rich, full sound to it,
Well, that MS20 filter is really, and the ring modulation, I think, is what you really want out of that.
Right.
Yep. Well, I got a K2 pre-ordered.
Did you?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Nice.
Maybe the Pro 1. I don't know. But the K2 for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, because go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's already some pretty good demos of it on YouTube.
Yeah, I was checking those out. It actually sounds really nice.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. There's something a little different in the filter, but not, I don't think, enough to unless you've already got like a Mini, you could easily pick up a K2 and be just fine.
My thing is, do you think that he had anything to do with that?
Oh, the guy from Korg?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's possible.
I mean, because don't you think that's ironic that they come out with this thing and then like, oh, hey, by the way, we hired the original designer of the MS20. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just kind of coincidental. You know what I mean? Like,
that is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Coincidental.
Coincidence.
Maybe they were consulting with him. I don't know if he was actively involved anywhere prior to going over to Behringer. But maybe they consulted him on the K2.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And just got to talking with him and said, "Hey, why don't we just hire you to build shit in Japan?" And he said, "Hell yeah." I wonder if that's kind of how it went down.
Probably. And then he said, "Domo, arigato."
Stop swearing.
So did you see anything else while you were there, or was there anything that really caught your attention and made your gas meter go up?
Yeah, no. Well,
No.
the Kira was there.
What is? Oh,
The Waldorf. Kira
yeah.
Was the Valkyrie. So I'm gonna make some news right now. Mine's gonna show up.
Oh, there it
like,
is.
Tomorrow.
Oh, finally.
Tomorrow
Really?
it'll be here. Yep.
Tomorrow.
Maybe we should have done this tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
You could have done an unboxing live, man.
that would have been interesting.
Right.
Hopefully I wouldn't have broken it. But yeah, so that's a synth I've had pre-ordered since January, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So that's why I've held off on because I wouldn't mind getting a Hydrosynth. But I have to pace myself a little more this year, guys. I can't spend like 20 grand on synths again in a year.
Yeah, you kind of went. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens.
I'm gonna say.
That's what happens when you order something and all of a sudden something else that you really want comes out. So like I had the Quantum pre-ordered, and then the Moog 1 came, and it was like gotta get that. And then I think I bought a Virus last year, and I bought a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't talk because at one point I remember I had right before I went to Winter NAMM, I spent a lot of money, and the last big piece I bought was the Prophet Rev 2, and then I just recently, right after I came back from NAMM, I dropped in the other what do you call it? The board that they had to make it 16 voices. So
oh yeah, the expansion.
I cracked that thing up, and I cracked that open, and then I popped that board in, and I love that synth. And Marshall had said something to me before you came on, and I know you own the OB, right?
OB6. Yeah.
The OB6, yeah. And Marshall says there's something about Dave Smith Instruments that he just can't pull the trigger on, and
I always want something else more. Always, every time. I've really wanted like a Prophet 08 for a really long time. But then there was always another synth that I was like, I kind of want that more. So I get that one. And then there's another one. And then another one. And then another one. And so I just never have ended up grabbing any of Dave Smith stuff.
You know what's really nice that you should check out is the Pro X.
I did check that out, and I considered that versus the Quantum. And guess which one I bought?
It's a wonderful synthesizer, though.
I bought the Quantum instead.
Go ahead.
I did that because while the Prophet X did seem very, very appealing, the Quantum just seemed to have a much deeper synthesis engine. Obviously, it's got multiple engines in it. And it is prettier, and it's just it seemed way more deep. Like I figured I'd get way more use out of a Quantum than a Prophet X. There was some specific samples that UDO makes that I was interested in getting that were in the Prophet X, but I was like, for just a couple things that I might really want right now versus something that I will definitely use for years.
Right.
I went with the Quantum.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I were to go back in time, if I had this available to me, I would probably go with Black Corporation as opposed to ESI. I mean, they have a CS80 remake. You can get right now. You can get a perfect circuit for about 3,000, I don't know, 500, something like that. Made, no kit, no building it yourself.
No,
that's polyphonic.
Stuff, in a couple days.
It's not just mono timbre. It's polyphonic.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But it's a mono output. It's only got. It doesn't have stereo output as far as I know. It's just a mono. That's the only drawback. But
okay.
The sound is there. It's the sound.
They make really nice stuff.
They make a couple other synths too that I would recommend as well. So.
Yeah, they're like one of those companies that kind of like about them.
I didn't really.
Really?
Well, because I'm not huge into modular, so I don't follow a lot of the manufacturers for modular stuff. I hear about stuff from Cow Food mostly. It's from the modular side.
That's not modular. These are synths.
These are synths, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I talking about then? Let me look this up.
All right.
How come I don't know about this? I should know.
What? Do you ever wanted a CS80, Marshall?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Again,
Just wondered.
I mean,
EchoCraft?
I've only the
I
CS80 is like it's like the super hot chick that you always see on TV but never in real life. So you don't really know what it's like. And that's kind of how I feel about the CS80.
I remember playing one years ago, and it's a CS80 is, like I said, the beast when you were talking about it earlier, because it's what everything pretty much was done on in the 80s. Everybody had a CS80. But the problem was that they were so freaking big and heavy.
Yeah.
But I never really wanted one because of that. They are huge.
I could just imagine if you got one and it broke, you would probably die.
Well, yeah.
Because how would you get it fixed? I mean,
there's a company. Where are they out of? They're down south somewhere. And the guy, that's all he does. That's all the company does is they just fix old synth. They fix any synths, actually. He's amazing. But they fix a lot of the old vintage stuff. But like if something ever happened to my Deep Mind or whatever, I would just send it to this guy. He'll even come pick it up if you can't make it down, send it down to him, which I think is super cool. He does road trips. Crazy. Yeah.
Kajimi analog, is that the one? Polysynth?
The one, the CS80 one is the Deckard's Dream, but the Kajimi is also...
Yeah, Deckard's Dream, yeah.
Okay, I do know Deckard's Dream, but I didn't know it was Black.
Wasn't that at NobCon?
Yeah.
Last year?
I'm pretty sure it was there this year, too.
Yeah,
I could be mistaken.
It sounds killer, man.
So yeah, so Deckard's Dream. So now I'm sorry, I know what Deckard's Dream is. I didn't know that was Black Corporation though. Is that?
Now you know, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the more you know.
Well, it's funny you mentioned when you said well, I'm not into this modular stuff, and it's funny, even though I got rid of my modular. I had a Pittsburgh modular. The system, what was it, 7? No, system 10 plus. That's what it was. And I had it for a while and I played around with it. But my problem with it, and I think I talked about you guys the last time we had a show together, I talked a little bit about it. My problem was there's so many freaking modules out there. I didn't know what to buy next.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it freaked me out.
That's why I'm like, I don't know what's good. I don't know what anything. I mean, I know what oscillators and filters and all that stuff does, but like I don't know which stuff is the shit to get in the modular world, because there's so much of it, and it's hard to differentiate. Like, what would I really need or want? I don't know. That's why I'm
where
like,
VCV rack comes into play.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what you do is you get VCV rack, use these modules to your heart's content, figure them out, and then you get an idea of like, oh, I could do that with this? Oh, okay, maybe I need that on my system then. Or this doesn't do what I hoped it would do, or what it does do, I'm not really impressed with. Whatever, I didn't pay any money for it. I have to try it out.
Right.
And they have a shit ton of modules that you can just fuck around with.
Well, that's epic advice right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you figure it out.
I never even thought about VCV rack as a test bed. I thought it was.
Yeah, I remember on Sonic State, Nick Batt talking about that. That is a good place, like you said, to test stuff out. Find out what you're looking to do. I mean, there's a lot of amazing companies out there. What's it? Maths is one of them.
Make Noise.
Make Noise, yeah.
They're the ones that make maths. Yes.
Yeah, which is everybody I know that has a modular system has that module in their system.
I don't.
Okay, you don't.
Well, fuck you, cow food.
Exactly.
Just kidding. Do you have a Clouds? I remember like
Clouds is supposed to be cool too. Yeah.
Clouds was in like everything, but they don't make it anymore, right? Or they stopped making it.
Think of Big Sky for Strymon. That's what Clouds is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a reverb unit.
Yeah.
It's a granular sampler, but it's more of a reverb but it's a sampler, but it's a reverb, but it's both basically.
Yeah. What's the other thing too? Because I know Nick Batt had a because of like I don't know, what was it, the 500th show or something like that. They actually gave him one that was custom designed.
Yeah, give him a special one. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the other? What's it? Intella? What is it? Intella?
IntelliGel.
Yeah,
Company.
Yeah, they make modules too, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of really cool ones, and they're not really. I mean, for the money, they're not that expensive. It's just when you start building the shit, next minute you'd spent like $5,000 on a freaking modular system, and
right.
Well, what I think about like what it would take to get a really good like polyphonic modular.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no. That's why I got a Moog 1. I got a Moog 1 instead.
No, exactly. That's just it. I mean, I know a lot of people that are into it and stuff. That's not what they look for when they build the systems. They build stuff for certain things. And I know like some of the drum modules that are out there are really cool too. I'm trying to think of the name of the company. They made one that's basically a TR-909. It's got all the faders and everything on it. It's red and white. Do you remember what that is, Mr. Calfood?
I'm not familiar with that, and I guess it's because I'm not really looking to put drums in my modular.
Yeah.
So I haven't like really researched into those.
Well, it just blows my mind.
Audio makes a set of drum modules. Don't think it's them though.
Yeah. Well, and then what's the name of the company that makes the Nix synthesizer?
Dreadbox.
Yeah, Dreadbox just came out with a bunch of new stuff.
Oh yeah, they did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're all different colors and they all do different things. Actually, kind of cool. I was watching Gaz Williams play around with them. But there was the thing. Like even though I got rid of the Pittsburgh modular system, I don't know what it is, man. It's kind of like this little weird fetish of mine. Like I still have to go on and check out what's new in the modular world, because I still think in the back of my mind at some point I will probably build another one, only this time not. The reason why I went with Pittsburgh was because it was kind of like, oh, hey, here's a synth engine and here's a couple of, go ahead.
No,
Are you gonna show yours?
Yeah. This is just, you'll know right away what this is since you got rid of it.
Uh-oh, he's opening up a box.
Yeah, it's in a box. I keep it in a box, but
that's exactly. Oh no, that's the Lifeforms one. Now see, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, this little thing. I mean, my hand just covers it. It's a little baby.
Yeah.
Little beast. It's got its own power supply. You don't have to get a rack or anything.
That's the desktop one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Get one.
No, Lifeform stuff is really, really cool. They've changed a lot. Pittsburgh's changed a lot.
So for the guy that doesn't know anything about what you guys just said, what is a Lifeforms or whatever it is?
It's basically a little synthesizer. It's a desktop synthesizer. It's got one or two oscillators in it. Two, yeah. And it's the filter on it is basically a ladder filter. Go ahead.
Would you put it kind of same, like, because kind of sounds like Mother 32 kind of thing?
Yeah,
sort of, kind of, yeah.
Mother's got one oscillator. This is two.
Okay.
And, but the audio-wise, this has got a more of a range to it.
Yeah,
it's got the same quality of analog as the Mother. Maybe not quite the same tone, but more of a range of tone with the amp. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, no, and plus you can patch with it, which is kind of cool. So it's it's kind of like the Mother 32, where it's it's an all-in-one. Speaking of the Mother 32, guess what I just picked up a little while ago?
Let's hear it.
I sold my Sub Fatty.
Selling mine too. My Slim, I'm thinking.
Really? Yeah, I decided. Well, I don't know. Do you guys remember me talking about what happened to it? Both my my octave switches broke, like just stopped
No.
working actually.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
I was still covered under warranty because I had taken out the 4-year warranty on it. And I sent it back to them, and they, it's Moog. They're super nice and they're really cool. They basically, he said, we're going to put better switches in there. Don't worry about it. So they did. And they sent it back to me and it was working perfectly. But you know what? The thing about that synth, see, I would take a Slim Fatty over that.
I never bought one of those because I thought the Slim and the Little Fatty were better.
Absolutely. I had a Little Fatty. No, I had a Slim Fatty and I, like an idiot, got rid of it. And I like the one, I want yours, Marshall.
You want the white one that's
Yes,
up
I
over
do.
here. You can't see it, but yeah.
I told him, I said, anytime you want to get rid of that, you basically call me up, man. That's, but no, I got rid of the Sub Fatty because there was just something about it, man, that I could never really get the sounds I wanted out of it. And I tried, I even did the software under the hood kind of thing, which I personally fucking hate. If I want something software driven or menu driven, I'll buy something completely different. When I buy something by Moog, I want to just get into it, twiddle the knobs on it, and get something out of it right away. And I sold it, and I bought a fucking DFAM.
Good.
Oh,
And
there you go.
Dude.
Yeah, Cal Food will approve of that for me.
Yes.
He's been telling me to get one
Good.
since forever.
Seriously, man, it's like one of my favorite synthesizers. And because that's what it is. It's not a drum machine. It's a synthesizer. And ever since you told me that, you're like, you're gonna do more things with that. And all I have, the way I control it, I have the Arturia key step coming out of the CV going into it, and that's how I control it. And my computer, it links up and everything. It's so much fun, and I've done so many cool things with it. I'm running it through this guy. So I'm running that, and I run it through the, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I have.
Juno 60.
I got one of those. It's still in the box.
Oh, dude, this thing's killer, right? So I got the June 60, and I run it through the Strymon, and those two things, I do some really cool stuff using that thing. And I'm going to actually patch it, the CV out of it into the SEO2, so I can do like a side chain kind of thing. But yeah, man, I love this little thing, and I got the little rack that goes with the mother and stuff, so it looks kind of cute, and it's on my desk, and I really love this fucking synthesizer, because it's different. That's what's cool about the DFAM,
It has a lot of range too. There's just so many things you can do with it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things that I did. I got rid of that Sub Fatty, man. I had it repaired and it sounded great. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to fucking get rid of it before something else happens to it. Because I've been hearing a lot of things about Sub Fatties, key beds fucking up. The filter, staying open, kind of, yeah. So a lot of stuff like that. And I was just kind of like going, you know what? It's working fine. I got the seal of approval from Moog saying, hey, it's up and running. I took it out, tested it, put it back in the box, threw it on Reverb. I said free shipping and sold the thing within like 3 days after I boxed it up.
So question for you on Reverb, do they hold a percentage of your sale?
I think it was like 3%. Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not at all. I've been selling a lot of stuff on Reverb, man. I got a nice little store set up. It's called Echo Shop.
Shop. You should have called it Echo Chamber.
Oh, why did I do that? That was great. I'm going to change it. Thanks, Marshall.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, man. I sold a micro granny. I got rid of that. I sold a bunch of teenage engineering things that I had laying around. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm like, I'm done with this. You know what I mean? Like, and they were fun and I had fun with them, but it's, to me, to get what you wanted out of that stuff, it was a lot of work. And if I'm going to do that much work, I want to do that on my Matrix Brute. And
get something really satisfying out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even on the Deep Mind. I love that synthesizer. You know?
I'm thinking about selling mine.
Oh. All right.
Well, I figure.
You know what? This is over now, man. I'm hanging up. No.
I figure if I want to get another one, they don't cost. I mean, they're like almost half of what I paid for mine now, brand new.
What'd you pay for yours?
I paid $1,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When they first came out, and now they're what, like $700?
$699. I bought mine for $699. I don't know if you remember me telling. I said to the guy, I was like, dude, this is marked wrong, and he's like, no, that's the price.
Yeah,
and that was over a year ago.
I was like, I could probably sell mine for a little bit. If I really want another one, I can get another one for like $500.
Yeah.
For a good used one.
I bought it strictly for pads, but I'm starting to find a whole bunch of other stuff that I've been doing with it. A lot of arpeggiator stuff. It's just a fun unit. Loop Pop just did an entire.
I saw that. Yeah, just posted that today,
like 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically watched the whole thing at lunch, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I knew it could do all that shit, but it was just seeing somebody do it. And I said, I'm going to go home and fucking play with this thing again. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they are cheap. Inexpensive. But there's something about that synth. It's definitely not a friggin' Juno 106. It's a definitely beast of its own. It's
I'd say inspired by Juno 106.
I would say because I had two of them, and I would say maybe the faders on the front panel and stuff. But the Juno didn't have the effects obviously in it that this has, and
no.
It didn't have an arpeggiator, which they fucked up on because the Juno 60 did.
And that's something I just learned. So cow food. Remember, we had asked what the fuck is the difference between the 60 and the 106 because we didn't know off the top of our heads.
Right.
That's one of them. It's arpeggiator.
Or the arpeggiator. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it only it had the core. It had the chorus that the Juno 60 had the chorus as well.
It had the chorus.
Yeah. But it's funny too because I was just talking to a friend of mine, Alex, that I hadn't talked to in a long time, and Alex is a little bit of an eccentric, and he has. So Alex makes space movies. Okay.
Like Buck Rogers or like Space Odyssey?
It's kind of like Buck Rogers. It's very strange, right? So, anyway, he built a spaceship in his basement to do filming. You have to see it. It's amazing. I did a lot of the soundtrack to a couple of his movies. And it sounds, it's just amazing. It looks amazing when you see it. I was blown away when I went to his basement and saw it.
And I thought we were strange with all our synth addiction. And there's this guy who builds a spaceship in his basement to make movies.
Well,
that's awesome.
He has on the front console of the spaceship is a Juno 60.
Oh.
And I looked at him and I went,
drives the ship with this Juno 60.
Yeah. And well, he's a musician, a retired musician, but I looked at him and I went, do you want to sell that?
Can you sell me your spaceship console?
He goes, no. He goes, it's part of my spaceship. And I go, dude, put something else there. This is amazing. It's perfect. It's in mint condition. And I'm like, and he even has the little, what do you call it? The link box that comes with it. He even has that. And I go, this goes for about, in this good a condition, probably about $3 or $4 grand easily. Right.
Yeah. And then you offer him $500.
I offered him $7. It's like,
that's all right.
And he's like, no. And it just kills me because he has this beautiful synthesizer sitting on this console of this spaceship in his basement. And it's just so fucking weird. But and he's got a brand new, well, it was bought in the 80s. He's got a what is it? It's a Marshal PCM 800 stack, like full blown. original.
Oh, wow.
Like these things go for about $4,000 now, right? The head alone is like $2,000. And he's got two Steinbergers. He's got a bass, originals, with the graphite neck and everything, bass and a guitar. And I go, what are you doing with this stuff, man? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just kind of kicking around. He goes, I can't let things go, man. But yet, he called me up one day, and I don't know if you guys remember me telling the story one other time. He said, come down and pick up this electronic drum kit, or I'm throwing it in the trash out back in my studio. He's got a dumpster out there. And I go
get it?
well, I looked, well, hold on. I probed a little. I go, well, what is it?
Okay.
'Cause I'm thinking if it's, one of those piece of shit Walmart ones, I'm like, no, I don't want that, right? So he goes, I don't know, man. I think it's by Roland. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, it has a big V on the side of the brain. I go, you have a Roland V kit? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's brand new. I had to rent it for a scene that I was doing with a band, and it was cheaper to buy it than to rent it, so I just bought it. He goes, I don't play the drums. He goes, either I can't give it away, so either you come down and get it, or I'm throwing it in the dumpster. And I went down and saw it, and it's not like just the little rubber pads. These are the full heads with the mesh heads and when I brought it home, my wife was like, okay, how much did you spend on that? I said, Alex gave it to me, and she didn't believe me. I had to call Alex up and let her talk to him because.
Right.
So I
What
mean,
did my husband spend?
you had to get the guy.
It's like the
tell
most
wife it
bizarre
was
thing, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I have it's sitting in my closet right now because I have no room for it in here because all the synths. But I have a full blown Roland V kit.
Well, if you ever want to give that away, give me
No. Well, I don't know. You want to trade for the Slim Fatty there? I mean,
I'll trade you the DeepMind 12.
I got one, man. I don't want that.
And you'll have two.
You can poly chain them.
That's true too.
Yeah, 24 voices of DeepMind 24.
Yeah. Well, no.
12 is enough.
But yeah, so I mean, he's very eccentric like that, and I'm still hoping that this was last week that I talked to him. I'm still hoping that he will call me up and say, "Listen, you want to take this keyboard off my hands?" Because I know him; he'll probably give it to me. He's very strange like that.
Well, buy him a dinner or a beer at least.
When he gave me the V kit, I took him out for dinner, and I was like, "Where do you want to go?" He's like Taco Bell, and I'm like, "Bro, I want to take you to a restaurant." And he's like,
right? At least say Applebee's or something.
No, he's like, no, Taco Bell's cool, man. And I'm like, okay. He's a very interesting dude. He makes great films, though. I will tell you that. I did 3 soundtracks for him.
Does he have them online anywhere that we could go watch?
Here's another interesting thing about him. He's an off the grid kind of guy.
Okay.
He just got a cell phone, and
Wow.
yeah,
How?
He literally broke down and bought an iPhone, and he's like, well, his dad passed away, unfortunately, but he's like, I got to stay in touch with my mom, and he said, I got to get a phone, and he said, I don't have a landline anymore, and so he's an off-the-grid kind of guy. I'm surprised. Knowing him, he probably pays his bills under an assumed name. It's just, he's a weird dude, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
But he's cool. He's wicked cool. I love being around him because he's a lot of fun to talk to. But yeah, if he ever turns around and says, "Listen, I got to get rid of this shit. I'm tearing down the spaceship," I'm gonna be like, "So that Juno 60, that can come home with me, right? Like I'll work for nothing. I'll tear down the spaceship. You give me the Juno 60. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
Because they do sound amazing. They really do. And when I bought my Juno 106, that was one of the ones that I was looking at first. And but the 106 just appealed to me. But then when I took it home out of the store and I go, "Who's the arpeggiator? It doesn't have an arpeggiator." I bummed. I was like, what the fuck? And back then, you know what it was like to find an analog like arpeggiator or a sequencer? It wasn't easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
that was like
Sequential made one.
It was like cutting edge stuff back then, right?
The Juno 106, yeah, was basically one of Roland's like flagship synths at the time. I mean, I paid $2,000 for the thing.
So I mean, to get like things like arpeggiators were kind of new back in the 80s.
Yeah. But to
Right.
have one built into a synthesizer was pretty cool. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
They
That's
left,
what I mean.
They
Like,
left that
was,
feature
like,
out.
cutting edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember buying a little, I forget who made it. It was this little silver box, and it sucked. It had this little tiny screen on it. It sucked to program, but I got it to work occasionally, and it was a sequencer, so I was able to do some patterns. You know what I mean? But like, it was difficult back then because there wasn't a whole lot of shit like that out there. And the sequential one was how much? That was like $800, wasn't it, or something like that? It was up there.
When it was new, I don't recall.
When it was brand new, yeah.
I'm sure it was up there.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys were looking at sequencers, I was taking shits in diapers.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know how much they cost back then.
Yeah, they were, a lot of shit was expensive back then. That's why it's amazing how today we can, even though we complain about the sound of things or how something doesn't have something in it, or, the stuff that we're able to purchase today is just incredible, hardware wise, you know what I mean? And software wise. I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff out there software wise too,
Well, there was a time when soft synths and software-based music production was not cool.
This is true.
And I remember because as when I was in my 20s getting into this shit, that's all I could do.
Right.
And I always felt like I had to get some hardware to be considered a serious musician,
Right.
And now it's like almost the opposite. A lot of times the software guys will give you shit for having all this hardware.
Right. Well, the thing is too is I find it cool to mix and match. You know what I mean? I like a lot of my bass lines now lately, because I'm getting rid of the little Korg mini log over there, monologue.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're getting rid of the monologue?
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with your big boy synths?
No, I don't use it because I'm using the Arturia suite for my bass lines and stuff, because I mean I've got like profits and all kinds of crap in there, I've been editing the DX7 module, which is fucking great because I could never do that on a real DX7.
I don't think anyone could except for Brian Eno, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, the FM synthesize engine in the DX7 is very powerful.
It's just getting to it.
It's like a nightmare.
It's like opening a piece of candy with a wrapper that's impossible to open.
Yeah. Well, it's like open up a Twinkie package. You ever do that?
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass. You need a pair of scissors. It's like
surgery.
It's like, they pride themselves on their shelf life for 20 years, you know what I mean? So, it's because you can't open the fucking thing, you know what I mean? So I just released a new single called Dawn of the Robots. And I'm on. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about too. I'm no longer with TMP Records. I am part of the Troubadour Publishing Company, though. Hold on. And so I decided that I'm going to start my old label back up again, Locker 13 Records. And so I started mastering my own stuff because TMP used to do all the mastering for me as well.
Right.
So when I bought the Silver Bullet, I had a really hard time getting this thing into my DAW because I was getting this effects loop happening and it was obnoxious. So I thought there was something wrong with the unit. And Brad from Louder Than Liftoff actually called me and said, "Hey man," he says, "I got your email." He said, I build these machines. I guarantee there's nothing wrong with your unit. I would really love to, work this out with you and try to get it up and running the right way." And I said, that would be great, man, So we went through some steps and I kind of got it to where I wanted to go. And then I said to myself afterwards, I said, geez, you know what? I wonder what it'd be like to do things old school, you know, to cassette tape or, you know, maybe the mini disc. And so I tried it. And I got to tell you, the results I got on this new single that I released, I actually let Manny from TMP Records listen to the mix and the master, and he was like, "Wow, dude," he goes, "that sounds really good," you know. And he wouldn't say, he would tell me it sounds like shit, because even though I'm not with his company anymore, I you know, with his label anymore, he wouldn't let me, because we're friends. So he's like, I wouldn't let you release something that sounded like ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, so I that's what I've been doing. I've been mastering to the 2-track mini disc, and I'm telling you, the results I'm getting is crazy. And that's also now going through the decomp, not the decomp, I mean the bus comp, which is basically an SSL compressor. And it just sounds amazing. It really does. It sounds really good. And like I said, I just ordered some tapes on Amazon. I'm going to crank up the Techniques deck, the 2-track Techniques deck that I have. I like that lo-fi kind of old school sound.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of getting that effect from these decks. I did try the Techniques out with an old tape that I had, but I was afraid the tape was going to oxidize the head, and I'd have to go in and clean the heads like we used to do and stuff like that. I'm going to have to do that anyway. But I played around with the tape a little bit, and I'm like, I better take this thing out of here, man. You know what I mean? The deck still works, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. I just ordered a bunch of Maxell cassettes. It was like $35 for 10, which that's not too bad, you know.
Are they just the like the regular tapes, or did you get?
They're just high output. I tried to get
metal.
Yeah,
metal
I tried to get chrome, and the price for chrome cassettes are like they were like $94 for a pack of 5, and I'm like, fuck you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I looked everywhere.
You're defeating your purpose if you do that. I mean, it's
right. There's only like one company that makes that shit, I think, now, which is probably why it's so expensive.
Yeah, well, I looked for like name brands. Like, I know I could have got like some TDKs, Sonys, and Maxells.
Like new old stock, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I didn't hear anything. Did you, Cow Food?
Yeah, it's on my end.
Okay.
No, I didn't hear anything.
That was ear shattering on my end. Sorry. Yeah. So I basically I gotta fix that. Hold on a sec. What a fucking mess. So yeah. So I basically you know, I ordered a couple of these things, and I was just like, all right, this is gonna be kind of cool because I want to play around with it. And I found, like I said, I found the Maxells. They're just regular, normal. Well, they're high output. They're not normal output, so they're high output. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll try those. And you know, the buyer, you know, assured me that they're fine. If they're not, just send them back to them. So I was like, okay, cool, you know. And that was through Amazon. You know, this is acting odd. Shh. Yeah, that's weird. That was me, by the way, but I'm getting this weird feedback thing happening again. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and I got to tell you, the mini disc sounds great. So, whoa, I don't know why. What is that? Did you guys hear that?
I hear like a fan.
It does, doesn't it? I don't have a fan on either.
Maybe here. Let me mute mine. Make sure it's not my end.
Yeah, it's
you.
fucking Cow Food.
Now the fan might be on again. I don't know.
Oh, it's all right. It is coming from me too, though. I got something weird going on here, so.
Oh, okay.
Weird. All right. So, did you hear that?
I heard you say weird.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
That's all I heard.
It's on the recording. It's a really cool reverb that I just popped in there.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So, what else we got to talk about, boys?
I'm getting Akira.
Yes, you are. Well, I don't know. I think we basically covered everything. We talked about KnobCon. We talked about. Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious, Echo Kraft. What do you think of the groove boxes that Roland's putting out, the MC 707 and 101?
Well, they're definitely way cooler than the stuff that they came out with back in the 90s. Because that was just shit to me. Everybody kept asking Roland, will you please build a TB303? Will you please build a TR909? So no, Roland's answer to that was, oh, okay, we'll just put them all in one big fucking groove box. Do you remember the groove box? I hated that thing, and programming it sucked balls. It really did. And I bought it and brought it back to the store.
Oh, you bought one?
I bought one, yeah. My buddy Dave bought one, and he played around with it for about a month, and then he was just like, fuck this thing.
So I think the 202s are still worth a good chunk of money, but the 303s are like $200. And I don't know what the difference is.
Oh, the groove boxes.
Yeah, like the MC202 is worth like $1,000. And the 303 MC303 is worth like $200.
Yeah, I really didn't. I didn't care for them. So the new ones, they definitely took a bite out of what was it? What's the thing that Native Instruments has? Tractor, or what is that? Is it?
Oh well, they've got. Isn't that they've got
Machina, right?
Machine,
Machine, or
well, I just call it Machine. I don't.
Yeah, what was the other thing too? The
Machine's more like push kind of. It's like meant to interface with your computer and your dial. But I would say more like the Digitac and the some of the Electron stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of more what it goes after, what it's targeting.
I like them. I think they're cool. I personally just don't like. I don't know. I don't. Maybe it'd be fun. I like the little ones really cool. I wouldn't go out for the big one, but the little one's kind of cool. I think that would be kind of fun to like. If you go away on vacation or something, to just kind of take that with you and just play around with it and come up with some ideas.
I
just don't see myself purchasing something like that. Just because it's. What's the point of having all this shit if I'm going to sit down in this little fucking box and just press colored buttons and I don't
it seems to be more of a performance oriented or DAW-less type solution. I always thought like those things died because computers actually got really good.
Yeah, but now you have a lot of people also that are into this whole DAW-less, jamming around, doing stuff like that, recording. I'm actually interested in buying a BeatStep Pro. That's kind of what I'm looking into.
Okay.
Only because there's no sounds in it, and I can actually hook whatever I want up to it to sequence. I have a BeatStep, but I put it away. I have an SQ1, but I put it away. I have a shit ton of fucking Volcas, and I put them away. I've got a lot of shit, dude, that I put away, and my wife doesn't want me to sell the stuff because she's like, "Oh, you're gonna only buy it again," you know what I mean? And
you never know, and like,
once I get into a bigger house or something, I probably will set a lot of that stuff up.
Right. Well, and you don't want to have another. Juno 106 situation or TB303 situation where you have something that you sell it for cheap, and then all of a sudden it's worth like a shit ton of money in however many years, and
and that's
you
why
you don't want to sock the money down to buy one, regardless.
Right. And that's why I'm putting the JU06 and the JP08 away, because I know they're going to be the JP08 they don't make anymore, so they're I've seen them online for like $485, stuff like that. Reverb. I've seen people on Reverb sell them for like $500.
But it's only half of a Jupiter.
It is only
Yeah,
half of
that's-
a Jupiter, and
That's
I
the problem with them.
But you can polychain them.
Yeah, that's true. But then,
the way I have mine set up is I have them on one of those little MIDI boxes, so I can actually play both. I mean, I don't get any more polyphony than the 4 that they give you, but I actually create I was creating massive pads using the Juno, the JU06 and the JP08 as like a massive pad maker, you know.
yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It was working out for me, but I just want to put them away and be done with it. I just don't feel like I in the past couple of months I really haven't touched them. They look cool when they're on because they're all lit up, but you know what I mean? Like I just need to put them away. I put my TR09 away. I put I put that guy away. Well, because I got the TR808, the TR8, and I got the TR8S, which has all those sounds in them.
And some, right?
Yeah.
I haven't even hooked up my TR8S yet since I've been here.
Oh, it's awesome. I love that drum machine. I love the fact that I can load my old samples into it, which is a lot of fun.
But it comes with like a lot of different kits too, so it's not just 909 and it's not just those, right?
Yeah, it's like the
all kinds of-
707, the 606. It's it's got all of that stuff in it. Where
And does it have?
you know what fucking
does it have-
pisses me off? The TR8. I had to buy that shit for $99 and then install it into it. And
I know, I did the same thing.
Oh, did
on
you?
my TR8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got a TR8 with the expansion pack
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
And
I get.
then
Go ahead,
like-
sorry.
I've almost never used it. So,
Oh, really?
well, I haven't spent a lot of time with anything drum machine related other than the boutique 808 and 909 or those. I really like those.
Yeah.
So I've used those quite a bit in a lot of different stuff. But the TR8 and the TR8S remains to be seen. I haven't even taken it out and played with it yet. But the TR8, I just kind of felt like it didn't have the ability really to route all the parts like you need to.
Right.
And even though you can't really do that on the TR09 and the TR08, the interface was just like the originals, and I really just like those interfaces. So I would suffer through multi-tracking one at a time with those.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
The TR8S I really like because it does have a lot of different sounds in it that they give you. I mean, there's so many of them.
That's kind of why I went ahead and bought one, and plus it's got more dedicated outs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's got like six outs. Is that right?
I think it's 6. Yeah, because the TR8 has 4.
Right.
Which
is not. That's not enough.
Well, I mean, I have right now the way I have mine routed out is I have it routed into so I have the bass drum and the snare drum separate on each their own channel, and then I have like the hi-hats and the toms on their own channels. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's true. It is nice to have, like, the originals was awesome because you can have every single drum on its own channel, its own track,
and process them individually.
Yes.
At once.
So that's the nice thing about the Behringer RD8.
That's why I've got one of those on pre-order.
Ah, look at you.
Well, that's like I was told by somebody who has an original 808. It's just as good.
Yeah.
It's to the point to where he was selling his original.
Oh, damn! Really?
Yeah, because it's worth like $4 or $5 grand, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but did you buy yourself a Behringer mixer to go with it? Because you're not going to get the individual outs per se in a real-time sense unless you have yourself an analog board to tweak.
I got 2 of them.
Well, I definitely have an analog. Well, it's a digital mixer, but it's multi-input. If that makes sense.
What do you got?
Yeah.
I have a Yamaha 01. I can't see that. 01V96 version 2.
Okay.
And then I've got ADAT running out of that into an RME ADAT to USB interface.
Yeah, I got a Behringer. I don't know. It's like fucking 22 channels. And then I got over there. I got a Alesis little piece of crap mixer that actually is I love that mixer. I don't know why. It just sounds really good. It's not noisy, but it's very analog.
Yeah.
So I got that over there, and then in storage I have a big Alesis board. I think I have a Mackie board there too. I don't know, dude. It's just from the band equipment to everything that's in the studio. It's just ridiculous how much shit I have. It's like I've got speakers up there in the storage, full blown PA speakers. I'm like, I gotta sell this shit because I'm not gonna use it. You know what I mean? Like if I play out anywhere, I'm not lugging a fucking PA with me anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we used to do that. We would be like, yeah, your PA sucks. We're bringing our own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because most of the clubs had shitty PAs back then. But, yeah, I got to get rid of all that stuff. But, yeah, I think I have like 4 boards. But here's the thing. The way I have it routed is I've got one of the Behringer, the A to D, was it the 8000 A to D or 80 ADA 8000 or whatever the fuck it is. It's I'm looking right at it.
Is that one of those 8-channel like 1U like size interface things? Or?
Yeah, and I have that going in through the IO and stuff into the
Yeah, and you can daisy chain those with Toslink.
Yeah, that's how I have it hooked up. So I have a lot of my stuff. I have the drum machines hooked up through that. And then I have my synthesizers going direct into the Focusrite. And then I have 2 channels on the Focusrite, 7 and 8, that handle my mixing board for 2-channel stereo outs. And that's what I got my other shit hooked up to. So it's kind of an interesting situation, but it's very analog-y sounding because of the analog board. There's something about it, man. I don't know what it is. It just does sound. It sounds really good. The Behringer board that I have is cool. I love the thing. It's old.
I've had a few old school Behringer boards, but mostly for mixing audio for streaming and podcasting.
Oh, okay.
I've never used one for music production.
I even have the micro boards. They're about like this big. They're like there's like 4-channel boards. I used to watch Ollie Laboratories all the time on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Berg.
Yeah, Berg. Right? Berg just did a single with Tara Bush.
I need to catch up with him. I haven't watched any of his stuff in quite a while.
He's moving back to Europe, man. He's leaving. Where is he? I think he's in like Thailand or somewhere.
Oh, I thought he was in Europe the whole time, so I must have missed even the whole move.
No, he's been living in Thailand, I think, with his girl for a long time, and then I think he's moving back to Sweden.
Okay.
But yeah, he's pretty cool dude too. I've chat with him at different times, and I remember when he started, man. He started with he had a couple of these guys.
He had a couple of those. I first started watching him when the MS20 Mini came out.
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of
he did a lot of that stuff. Yeah. And now his studio's freaking crazy. Plus he does a lot of live shit. But him and Tara Bush just did a single together, and it actually is pretty cool. She's singing on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but he basically has a bunch of these little boys. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah.
This is one of my favorite delays, man.
I had one. I had several of the little Org Mini Monotron things or whatever they were called. The Duo.
Yeah. I got the Duo too. Yeah.
I ended up selling them because I was like never used them ever, but it was cool because they sounded really good because they were like analog.
Yeah.
And that was legit like the start of the analog resurgence, affordable analog.
Yeah, it was I have a Mono Tribe, and that's in a box in the friggin' closet too, but that one didn't have any MIDI out or MIDI in, so you just had this stupid little keyboard with I used to have a Nintendo stylus that I used, and then I ended up hooking it up to a lot of the Volcas and stuff like that. So I was able to control different things like that with it. But the Volcas, that was the beginning started me back up again, was the Volcas and the Mono Tribe and the Monotrons. I was like, oh God, analog. I'm like, this is for $149. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You know,
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And that's what got me back into everything again.
Because that's when you used to, like, when I bought, like, my first little fatty, and it was like $1,200 or $1,300, and I thought I was getting a steal. I thought that was a great deal for a mono analog synth. Well, and now it's like,
for that one, it is.
Well, yeah, I still think it's an amazing synth, but like, you know, now you can get a D-Mine 12 voice poly for $700.
This is true.
Crazy.
This is true. Well, even like the mini log. That thing's kill. That's a killer synth, man. I love that. That's one of the ones I'm not putting away.
I could see it because it's right there.
Yeah, it's
right behind you.
It's right there. Yeah. I actually like the XD better than that. I
had considered scooping up an XD. I still might at some point, but
I'm thinking about after I get rid of the mono one, I'm thinking about doing the XD module. Because I played with that at NAMM. That was pretty cool too.
That's not rack mountable, right? It's not the right size. It's not 19-inch rack mount.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's got that funky, like the funky flanged ends, like on the sides and stuff.
It's just kind of like they took just the mini log.
They chopped the keyboard off. Yeah.
They just chopped the keys off.
Yeah. Put a little wood piece in the front to cover up the mess.
Sure, but.
Yeah, but
there's also the third voice. You can just buy that separately too.
The third voice?
The digital voice for the mini log. You can buy the actual. It's a build-it-yourself kit.
Oh,
really?
Do tell.
Yeah, it's called, I think, Next or something like that. Korg Next.
Oh yeah, I know what you're.
Oh, is that little? It looks like a monotron. That little thing.
Yeah, that's the third voice. It's in the XD.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
And the Prologue.
Yeah, it's just the multi. It's what do they call it? The multi-engine.
I blew that off looking at it because I was like, who needs another one of these fucking things?
No, it's a dope sounding little thing, man. You should check it out. It's no slouch.
So what do you hook it up to the mini log, or
you could just use it by itself?
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
It's also the effects engine and the third oscillator.
The multi-engine oscillator. In its own little thing. Yes.
Right.
And in the Prologue, it's the same thing.
It's $100, and you have to put it together yourself. But other than that, it's those two things: the effects engine and the multi oscillator engine as well.
Is it CV on it or anything, or is it?
I don't know. It might just be MIDI. I have to look it up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. See, I saw that, and I think it was who was it? Loop Pop, I think, was messing around with one, and I said, it looks like a monotron, so I skipped over it. I was like,
well, I saw it too, and I was like, that's a pretty cool idea, but if I would just buy an XD probably instead, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's. You know, like
but especially if you're developing for that and you plan to sell your own oscillators and effects, that you need that.
Yeah.
You should get one.
Yeah, which I have no intentions to do.
But you don't dabble in any coding.
I don't have time, man. I actually have to teach freaking coding where I work, and it's like, have you ever seen that, what's it called, Swift Playgrounds and crap like that's all block coding? I have to teach little kids that stuff. I have no desire.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I get aggravated.
It's a Korg New Tech NTS1.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, NUTEKT. New Tech. I don't know how to pronounce that. NTS-1.
Okay.
All right.
Well, there you go, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out then, because like I said, I passed over it because I was just like, eh.
Yeah, Loopop did do a review on it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. You know what I like about him? He has his videos. He has on the side that little, like index that you can click on to go to the different parts of the video.
Can you click on that? I didn't
know you could click.
Yeah,
Really?
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart dude, man. I actually like his videos, you know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool guys out there that you know, that whole generation of guys, you know, Bo Beats and all those guys, they all just kind of, you know, they all kind of like have a very interesting style of doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the nice thing about Loop Hop is it's very to the point, informative, and it's legit almost like a video tutorial on whatever he's got.
Yeah, yep.
Whereas some of the other guys is more
fluff.
Not. Yeah.
Subjective talk, kind of
like
us.
little yeah, but I don't know how to explain
and explain it and being nice at the same time.
Yeah. Basically.
No, I hear you, man. You know, that's like when they all got invited to go to Germany to what's the name of that big music store out there?
Yeah, Tillman's.
Tillman's, yeah.
Tillman.
Yeah. That was cool. I like that. That was really a cool thing to see a bunch of YouTubers recognized and all together to kind of mingle, and you got their take on some stuff that they either probably couldn't get their hands on anyway, or you know, if they did, it was just kind of nice.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed the videos. There were a lot of guys there that I wanted to see talk about their stuff other than what they do on their YouTube page, so that was very cool.
Yeah.
You know, and just seeing like, you know, guys like Gaz Williams there too, which was awesome. Gaz is a hoot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people that went to that were invited to that I'm trying to be nice, that I would never subscribe to because of their content and because of how they present themselves on their channels. But that's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they still have whatever kind of audience that...
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, that's the power of...
You ever watch Magpie?
Oh, yeah, I love Magpie.
I fucking love that guy, man.
He's fucking awesome.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
I became one of the pirates, did you?
I don't know. I'm like a moderator, I guess, somehow.
Really?
Like, he subscribes to me. I think he thinks I'm a pretty all right dude, so...
Yeah, because I messaged him and I go, you follow me, I'll follow you, right?
So and you said that to him?
And I go, yeah, and I go, and I'll post your videos too if you want me to. And he was like, all right, that's legit. He's fucking cool. He's just such a fucking cool dude. Like, he doesn't give a shit, man, you know?
Well, you know, I think I had seen a handful of things from him, but then when he called out Bo Beats...
Oh, yeah.
For some bullshit that Bo had done...
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this guy's fucking cool.
Well, he did that to a couple of people. He did that to that girl. What's that girl's name?
Oh, the Dallas Jamming girl?
Yeah, I'm all set.
That's like the only girl I know. Well, there's one other girl I know of that does YouTube stuff with synths. But she's probably the one that I could see him maybe calling her out for something. Yeah,
well, he did.
Okay.
She did one of those clickbait videos where she was complaining about her, you know, not, you know, she has a full-time job. She goes to school. It's not easy editing videos and all this other crap. And he's the best part about it, though, dude, he's sitting in a bathtub, right? He does shit like this, right? He's sitting in a bathtub with this pink phone. And he's watching her video on the pink phone, and then he'd stop the video and goes, okay, let's talk about this fucking shit right now, okay? Right? You fucking dude. And he ended up kissing, I guess, and making up with her when they went to Toman's. But it was.
Well, I think he made up with Bo too. So
Yeah,
it's all good fun.
But it was just really,
But it was kind of funny to see like that YouTube controversy never seems to leak into the synth community. So when I saw some of that, I was like,
Well, because I think a lot of people are full of themselves, and they're, and people that are full of themselves are full of shit. And I just see, I love guys like Magpie where he's just like, fuck it, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do what I want. If you don't like it, too bad,
Well, it was smart because it drove a lot of traffic to his channel.
Right.
As well.
And I love it too because he's got like this kind of passive aggressiveness about him where he's just like, what they did is not cool, but it's okay. You know what I mean? He says shit like that, and it's like, but you just called him out and called him a friggin' idiot, basically. You know what I mean? And he'll be like, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but you really shouldn't have said what you said,
Yeah.
And I just love that kind of shit because I don't subscribe to people that are like that. And when I first saw Magpie, I actually stumbled upon him because he was doing something with a pedal that I was interested in.
Yeah, because he does a lot of circuit bending.
Yeah, circuit bending and modding and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know actually one of the guys that I work with sent a pedal to him, and
you send it, I bend it thing.
Yeah, he circuit bent. It was Earthquake of Devices. I think it was a reverb pedal, and he did something fucking funky to the thing, man. And he charged them only like, I think it was like $100 to do it. And he's got a custom Earthquake of Devices pedal that just sounds amazing, So, I mean, he's legit. I mean, I love it when he takes toys and turns them, and he does like songs. Did you see the cat piano that he did?
Yeah, that's like one of his top viewed videos, I think.
That's so awesome, man.
I was like, there you go. I mean, you can make good shit with anything because that was a pretty cool song.
Yeah. Well, she actually, what's her name there? The Dallas jamming chick. She actually went out and did the same thing, She bought one of those pianos.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, and she started doing stuff, and I was just like, come on, man. Like, just stop.
I watched some of her stuff.
Did she actually try to DIY it?
No. She was basically just recording shit with it.
Or circuit bend it, yeah.
No, she didn't circuit bend it, no. And he didn't do it either. He did. Didn't he like?
No, yeah, he had to put a fucking jack on it.
A jack on it, yeah.
On it.
Yeah,
I think he did. He might have done a few other little things to it. It wasn't like a big deal, but
no, his whole thing was just to make music with it. That was the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even the microphone, he used the microphone. It was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that little shit microphone.
Yeah, but I just think it's cool that he does stuff like that. You ever see him blow shit up in his backyard?
No, I saw there was one of the videos that he did I thought was kind of odd was it was like they put like a white curtain and then they were just sticking their hand in with like different shit to like record sounds for people to take and sample and make shit out of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was cool. And then there was one video that he did where he was like, listen, for those of you people who are like stealing my shit and reposting it, you shouldn't do that, but I want you to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's funny.
He does that kind of shit.
He's like, it's free. You don't have to sneak.
Did you see when he taped the Boss pedals to his running shoes and ran on the track?
No, I didn't see
that. Yeah, he goes, let's see how much abuse these pedals can take. And then afterwards he goes back in and plugs them in and they still work. And he goes, this is a pretty good pedal. The construction is done well on this. He had a gun. And you should look this video up. He takes the pedal out onto his backyard and it was like cinder blocks. And he like puts the pedal and him and his friend are shooting this gun. It's a real gun.
He's Swedish, I think, right? I didn't know they You could have guns there.
I didn't think so either. It's very strange, man. He's.
I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I just thought Europe in general was kind of all anti-gun.
Yeah, me too. No, you should check it out. He actually is blowing up shooting a pedal.
That's funny.
With this pistol, I think he's awesome.
Yeah, mad respect for that guy.
What's that?
I have mad respect for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's doing his own thing. He doesn't give a care or a shit about what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
That is exactly what makes him, very special in this community, actually.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's getting a bit on the late side.
Yep.
And yeah, we had fun. We talked. We conquered. We saw. We danced. We smoked vapes.
We vaped.
Which is illegal in Massachusetts right now.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I don't get
Mr.
that.
Governor Charlie Baker, 7 people died from some type of...
Yeah, and how many people have cigarettes killed? Those are... I can still go to the freaking gas station and buy a pack right now.
Well, if you subscribe
give me a break.
If you subscribe to the Belligens podcast that I'm on, you'll hear us talk about that whole thing. Because we mentioned the same thing. How many people died of cigarettes? How many people die of guns? How many people die? Now we've legalized marijuana, but we're gonna ban vape juice, right? Like, and these.
Well, and it was only, I think it was only the cannabis oil that was causing a problem, right?
It was the cannabis oil and the illegal vape jewels that they were black marketed from China. They weren't like.
Well, that's why you fucking died.
Seven people died, and Baker decides, well, we're going to put a 4-month ban. So people who own vape shops right now can't make a living, So I went up to New Hampshire and I grabbed some big, giant things of vape juice. It was just like, fuck you, Massachusetts.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it reminds me of when they made cloves illegal.
Oh, remember that? I remember that. I used to smoke
cloves.
I
used to fucking love cloves, and then
blacks,
they made them illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to smoke the blacks all the time.
I never understood why they made them illegal. Like,
because
I don't get that.
Certain people
I smoked them too. I guess it makes...
Yeah, certain people, I guess, the thing that happened to most people was their lungs would bleed. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you're smoking like fucking 10 of them in an hour, like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like,
smoke like maybe one a day because they're potent as shit.
Yeah, I'd have one once in a while, and I enjoyed it. Yeah,
We're gonna ban cheeseburgers because people eat 20 of those and get fat and die.
Well,
I don't understand. It's America, land of the free. If I want to vape, I should be able to vape. It's better for me than smoking.
There's a certain representative that wants to ban cows. So
Well, then what's going to happen to cow food?
Yeah. What then?
No one's going to eat.
We're definitely living in some fucked up times, gentlemen. But on that note, it was super cool talking to you guys, and I'm so glad that we got this together to have it happen, because I really do enjoy talking to you guys,
Yeah. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you guys got anything to plug? Anything coming up that you want to throw out there? Or
cow food?
No, nothing coming up yet. Although I'm probably going to be on one of your guys' shows soon. Maybe I'll be putting up some of my own videos.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm kind of being pushed into that, so I got to get my act together here and put together a nice set on the modular, and maybe some Digitac, Digitone stuff involved too.
Yeah, we'd love to see your studio too, dude.
Yeah, that's just gonna happen.
That'd be awesome.
So when you get that rolling, let me know, man, so I can get you back on the show. Plug it.
Who, me?
No, I'm telling Cow Food. Come on my show and get it rolling. When you get it rolling.
Oh, I thought you said Roland.
Sorry, rolling.
Because I'm sitting there going, what?
When you get it rolling on YouTube,
I will.
Hit me up.
I shall.
Yes.
So we can give you a nice boost in the beginning, hopefully.
So Marshal, you got anything coming out? Any music being released or anything? Or
I've got some tracks. I mean, I made a whole track with just Roland Cloud, except for the kick drum on my channel.
Cool.
There's a series of live streams I did working on that, so that'll be coming out here eventually. And then some other stuff, and then of course Kira Goodness coming up this weekend. So Saturday, stay tuned for a live stream featuring that.
Nice.
And that's kind of what I got cooking right now.
I'll definitely check that out, man. I'm curious.
Yeah, ditto. I want to see it as well.
Yeah, so like I said, I got a couple of things going on. I have some stuff that's being laid over from TMP Records. We remastered and re-released my first album, which is actually doing pretty good right now. And my label is Locka 13 Records, and I just released my first single through DistroKid called Jesus, what was the name of it again? Oh, Dawn of the Robots. Wow, man, I'm tired. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. And Dawn of the Robots. And I'm actually going to be releasing probably every 4 weeks a new single, just to get my stuff out there. Because I have about 20 songs in the can that I haven't been able to release. And that's kind of why I backed off from TMP, even though Manny's like my brother from another mother. But I need to take care of me. So that's what's going on with me. And also, I'm going to be a guest on the Deep Dive podcast. You should guys definitely check it out if you like movies and movie reviews. Amanda and my friend Tom, both of them are friends of mine. They're funny. They do some cool movies. And this is horror month, so it's all about horror movies. So
nice.
Yeah. So
they have a YouTube channel, or is it?
I believe they have a YouTube channel, and they're also on every podcast streaming.
Aggregator.
Yeah, that you can find. They do it through Podbean, but they go everywhere.
Nice.
So I'm doing that, and definitely check out the Belligerence podcast with me and Dean. It's not for the faint of heart. If you like two guys that are angry all the time talking about some serious shit or some stupid shit, tune into Belligerence. So, but anyways,
nice.
This has been a great Echo Cast, and I really appreciate you guys coming on and doing this. And hopefully we'll get this up and running soon. So, with that being said, ciao for now. Stay creative. Do whatever the fuck you want. Just stay creative.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, kid.
Whatever you want.
It's illegal.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
Right.